create visual compositions. They use tools and techniques to make their work memorable, right? Brush strokes, colors, textures, shapes. And I believe it's the same with what I consider to be the best poetry. But the material that goes on the poetic canvas is not paint, charcoal, or some other colored material, it's words. In both cases, images are the end results. The memorable paintings, they hang in our walls and homes, businesses, malls, and so on. The memorable poems create images in our minds, hopefully intense visions created by the poet. The painter's images might be familiar and logical. Maybe they're outdoor scenes, people, animals, or everyday items created on the canvas in some fresh and imaginative way. Or they might be unfamiliar and abstract, a kind of surprising visual experience where the originality of the color and shapes and composition make the painting great. In my mind, good poems are no different. They may be logical, linear, familiar, or abstract. But just like paintings, and in fact all other artistic expressions, if they transcend the medium, if they're composed in ways that make them materialize in the reader's mind's eye in some surprising arrangement of ideas, feelings, emotions, that's it. Because that's an experience the reader or listener of the poem will feel, just as if they're looking at a great piece of art. That's the essence of poetry as art. 1. The night the river opens like a long southern wound, all breezes in the bottom country die. Cooling veins divide, swell, trickle silver into valleys, rising breathless under gleaming trails of river stars. 2. Small boats sliding easily in cold silver. A terrier abandoned leash to its submerged, softening house floats belly up, inflated with the cold gas of swimming circles into shock. 3. Wind rushes from the deep thickets. Thorn branches scratch into the cold white silence of the dead. A new sea shivers, breaking clouds against deserted white walls. I get no greater satisfaction than from searching out and placing words on a page in ways that will help a reader or listener recognize some stunning vision and the surprise and revelation that comes with that experience. For the lynx, a bob, a woolly stub above the anus shaking off the snow on a winter slope. Studs and mares in southern dust corrals stand and fly their hairy flags, dropping dung, swatting off the clouds of gnats and flies. And dogs? Thickened whips, tucking under hairless bellies, coiling over, curling sideways, wagging out a figure eight of love. For us, nothing more than a coccyx finger, hook-like, pointing down in a pelvic x-ray. But think about the crocodiles waving easily through silt and lilies. Scorpions, the arc sting coiled overhead. Monkeys, chattering bands traveling prehensile through the canopies of broken shade. And down along the evolutionary line, pollywogs in reproductive cream, countless tiny trillions wriggling upstream in search of eggs. Some of my poems are about the damaged people among us. Quite a few are about animals, birds, and so on. Some are my attempts at wit, and others are meant to shock. I am the one with the chrome-braced leg, walking intersections, half my body starting up a stairway. The worst of me, an arm, is white, freckled, rigid as an insect's. I'm going home, my mother at my side. You see us through a dirty windshield crossing. My head is cocked, my mouth agape, straining, saying, "Father, Father, Father," in the speech of frogs. For me, shadows have more potential to grab the reader and spark the imagination than light. The light warms us and brightens our world, right? The dark kind of engulfs and surrounds us in mystery and anxiety, and there's power in that. 1. I am queen, keeper of the shadowed place. Threading anything of permanence to molded earth, I make my rooms. 2. For you I swell with a paralytic milk. I, the polished piece of shadow, belly-flagged and hung among the parts of motors left too long. 3. Often in this night I dream you've come, all my eyes upon your flight, the glittering circles, sunlight into shadow, into silk. 4. Fangs to gut we touch and lock. Your scales are brittle, warm with light. My face is pulsing, sending in the necessary dose to stop your muscles, freeze your mind, calm you for the work of your cocoon. 5. I embrace, wind you like a beating jewel, a wing, one leg still moving, pressing out. My legs are tireless, they pull, guide, bind. The gland is like an anus, swelling to release its thread. 6. The moon ascending lights my house, my young deposited like pearls. You sleep enclosed in a gossamer ball, unaware they have begun at last to stir. I have no reason or logic for what I write. I can only say that I don't care to write much about myself when there's so many other interesting things out there to write about. But what I do write about is just my own way of creating images with words. My attempt to create poetry as art. Moving out from overhang and shadow, suddenly you spark, human kindling burning on the face of a liquid sun. Gliding on the mirrored glaze of open water, you dip the oar, pull the river's skin until it tears, shatters into waterflies and diamonds, splashing on a rippled, wide, reflected bend of Arizona sky. And my ultimate reward? Not that you like or dislike my poems, or that you approve or disapprove of them, or even if you understand them. I'm fulfilled if you experience them. Remember me. Remember 7th Street in rain. Consider that I found you crippled in a storm of jewels. Discovered that the light of opals sucks the color from your skin. Remember that I bite my nails, remain in shadows. Keep in mind that you are virginal regardless. And most of all, remember Cisco, my Italian swan. He loses feathers, loses weight. A fever burns beneath his wings. Remember, please remember how he trembled in your